Good morning, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. I guess we are live again, and there is an urgent warning for the United Kingdom. Now, this urgent warning to the United Kingdom comes as the economy is absolutely in free fall. Now, I know some people will be thinking, well, do you know what? The economy doesn't really affect me. This is only going to affect the really rich and yada, yada, yada. The reality is, guys, the economy is going to affect everyone. Do you know why? Because the price of everything is going to be going up. There's no stopping it now, guys. There is no stopping what's coming. We have a mass exodus of people leaving the United Kingdom on an almost ungodly scale. And I do mean that, guys, when I say an ungodly scale. If anybody's wondering what I've done to my finger, just quickly, guys, I cut my finger this morning on a razor blade, trying to get a razor blade out of the packet. But anyway, let's not worry about that. I had to apply pressure. I had to lift it high. But anyway, I dealt with that. So, guys, listen, that is an urgent warning to the United Kingdom. Now, I don't know what action you guys can take, if any. If you're in the United Kingdom right now, ladies and gentlemen, and you have the means, I would say get out now. Nothing good is coming to the United Kingdom. President Macron, was he a president? Is he a president? President Macron, Emmanuel Macron was over here yesterday, and he was talking about Macron's talking about, you know, this new deal that they've got to stop migrants coming to the United Kingdom, to stop illegal. Guys, this is funny. So, do you know how they're going to stop illegal migrants coming to the United Kingdom? They're going to change the laws and make it legal. So what they're doing now is they're doing a one-in, one-out scheme. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute, how does that even work? And listen, I may be wrong, but I don't think I am. My understanding of this is for every illegal migrant that comes to the United Kingdom, they send them back, an illegal migrant from France comes over, and then we're winning, we're doing. What does that even mean? So, you know, again, guys, look, we don't have a system in the United Kingdom where anything is going to get better anytime soon. So expect more migration, expect more craziness, expect more draconian laws, because you know what? The government are trying to pass a bill in the United Kingdom where they're going to get rid of trial by jury. Why do you think that is, guys? Why do you think they don't want people involved in these courts anymore? I mean, what's the next step? Trial by AI? So people, let me find this, guys. I can't remember. Do you know what? Where is it? I can't find it. Hang on. Right. A jury-free trials recommended to save courts from collapse. So can you imagine now? Can you imagine, for example, guys, if Lucy Conley had have pleaded not guilty to the charges that she had have chosen, and she'd have said, you know what, I want a trial by jury. I want a jury to judge me and a jury to say, well, do you know what, I'm not sure if you are guilty. How do you think the jury would have reacted? Look, you know, I don't see anything good coming here. I see an absolute slip into totalitarianism. And every time I watch this movie, what's it called, that movie? I can't remember the movie. The Hunger Games. Every time I watch the Hunger Games now, like the first one, I don't know if you guys have watched the Hunger Games, but the first Hunger Games is not the Hunger Games Part 1. It's like the Hunger Games, I can't remember. But I thought that Hunger Games Part 1, erroneously, was the first one. Guys, look, if you want to know what I believe the future for the United Kingdom is, watch the Hunger Games part, like the first Hunger Games, where people are segregated in these little cities, these little 50, they've got everything they need. They've got everything they need within 15 minutes. Some of them are lush metropolises, but some of them, unfortunately, are poverty-stricken hellscapes. That's all I can call them, guys. You know, poverty-stricken hellscapes. What else have we got, ladies and gentlemen? What else have we got? Doctors in the United Kingdom, they want more money. Doctors are wanting more money in the United Kingdom. Didn't the doctors just strike like a couple of months ago? Well, it turns out resident doctors have voted to strike in England because they want more money again. They want more money. The cost of living's going up, so the doctors are going to strike. The cost of living is going to go up, so we need to put taxes up. We need to put inflation up to pay for the doctors. And the doctors, why don't we just pay all doctors, guys? Why doesn't everybody just down tools and we'll just give the doctors all the money they want? Every doctor should have £1 million. Every doctor should be a billionaire. Every doctor should be a trillionaire. Why not, guys? Why not pay doctors £1 trillion a day? Look, doctors don't get a bad salary. The problem is these doctors, they start their job and they think they should go on to Megabook straight away. Let me tell you something. princess. That is not how industry works, all right? These doctors at some point are going to get replaced by AI, and I think, you know what, guys, if they keep striking, they're only going to bite themselves in the foot. That's what I do, guys. You know, all these people who want to strike, I said, you know what, off you go, I'm sacking you all. No, we'll deal with it. I'll deal with it. And then we just deal with it. And then you know what? The next iteration of doctors, they won't be striking anytime soon. But yeah, the doctors want more money, guys, okay? The doctors want more money. Listen, this flight, you know how in the newspapers at the moment, the argument is very difficult to criticize, guys. All right, when people are saying that we should tax the ultra wealthy, the argument is solid, and it sounds fair. People who've made billions and billions of pounds or whatever, they should be taking that tax. I get that and I understand it, and that is right. But that is not what's happening. These taxes are affecting normal working people who've worked hard all their life. They may have a couple $100,000 in the bank, and they're the people that it's affected. And let me ask you a question, ladies and gentlemen. You guys are on the chat. Let me ask you this question. Who do we want in this country right now? Do we want the business owners, those people who are providing services, providing goods, providing productivity? Are they the people we want in the country, or do we want to push them out and just have people in who are net takers from the system? I don't know. It looks to me the government just want net takers at the moment, because remember, when people are net takers, they are dependent on that system. It's unbelievable, guys. Listen, I know quite a lot of my friends are leaving the UK. I know one particular friend. I think he has 7 houses. He has 7 houses, and when we used to work in the Middle East together, he used to get paid in US dollars. Now, he never transferred any of that money over. And listen, guys, if any of you guys are wanting to join the army, this is a true story, okay? One of my friends who was in the army. I'm not going to mention his name. A friend of mine, I joined the army the same time as him. I was one of those people who was like going out with the lads and buying daft things with my salary. My friend, his name's Nathan. My friend Nathan, the first thing he did was he came back and he said, "Oh yeah, I've bought a house." He was like, "What?" And he was like 19 or something, and he bought his first house. It was like, "Oh right, what are you going to do with that, Nathan?" He's like, "Oh, I'm going to rent it out." He's like, "Oh right, all right, fair enough, whatever." And then he saved up and he bought another house. I want to say 7 houses he ended up owning while he was still in the military, just by buying and buying and saving up and buying and buying and buying. So when he went out to the Middle East, he didn't actually need to earn that money. Again, look, guys, it was a totally different time back then in the early noughties. What I'm getting at here, he's got a lot of US dollars that have been maturing now in his US dollar account, and he's like, well, do you know what, Sean? I'm good. I'm moving to He's moving out to America. There's quite a few of my friends who live in Texas. He will be one more. And look, guys, every day that passes by, honestly, I'm like getting closer and closer to leaving the United Kingdom, because the taxes here are unbelievable. And it's not just the taxes. Like, if we was like all together and unified, genuinely, guys, I wouldn't mind paying taxes. I wouldn't, I'd be like, and I'm going to suspect a lot of people in the United Kingdom wouldn't either. But when we're seeing the government just give stuff away to people who've never contributed to this system. Oh, but Sean, migrants can't claim benefits because they don't have a national insurance. Shut up. Stop it. Give over. Whatever lid you put on that pan, it's still getting funded by the taxpayers. There's no way around that, guys. People are starting to wake up. People are starting to understand, but it is too slow. It's too slow. It's too late. Honestly, guys, I'm thinking about getting that patch of land in Antarctica. We are on, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just out the shower. I've cut my finger, but I'm on here for an hour. And then we're going to jump over to YouTube. So can you do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen, while I tell you all the craziness that's been happening in the United Kingdom, the absolute insanity that's leading us into a totalitarian state? I mean, at what point, guys, is Keir Starmer going to come up and say, yeah, We all have to fight for our food now. There's food shortages, and all you guys from, all you guys from Birmingham have to fight with you guys from Newcastle, and whoever wins, you guys can get some food. Like, at what point are we like that? At what point is that happening, guys? I think it's coming very soon. Right, guys, listen, can you do me a favor? Please do me a favor. Like, follow, comment, subscribe. Buttons up here if you're watching on TikTok. Buttons down there if you're watching on YouTube. Remember, guys, we're double streaming now. We are on here and we are on YouTube as well. So all the videos will be uploaded to YouTube. Look, guys, I was thinking this morning, actually. Have we just forgot what's just happened? Have we just forgot what's happened? Remember last month on Friday the 13th when I said to you guys, like, guys, look, all this, if you're watching for the first time, these are literally videos I did. Last month, I said, right, everybody, get ready for Friday the 13th. Get ready for Friday the 13th. You know, there's a lot of international markers. There's a lot of geopolitical markers coming. And I feel, we're going to have that event. And then kaboom, 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 the Middle East just went bonkers. Everybody was saying, Sean, when's Donald Trump going to drop these bunker busters? Sean, when's Donald Trump going to drop these bunker busters? You know, what I said, and again, this is all public record. I said, right, guys, listen, it's very difficult to predict these things when they're, when so much is happening at the same time. But what I actually said is, I said, normally I would go for a Friday, but I believe it's coming this Saturday. What happened that Saturday? The bunker busters got dropped. And then I did a video. Then saying, guys, I believe there's a credible threat to UK air bases. There's a credible threat to the military facilities in the United Kingdom. And then literally within a week, there was an attack on an airbase in the United Kingdom. And can you remember the people in the comments, how all of a sudden they were pretending, they were experts? Oh, if somebody attacks a military base, they'll be shot. Oh, if somebody attacks a military base, all the soldiers will be there protecting. I'm like, that doesn't happen. That does not happen. Remember, guys, when I'm giving you guys this analysis, my opinion and my speculation, it's because I've got a lot of years in this industry, guys. I've got a lot of years in this industry doing a lot of jobs for a lot of different people, some of them good and some of them bad. Right, let me jump up and get these. I've just seen a ticking time bomb. Somebody just put, right, Google it is putting, Rachel Reeves has triggered a ticking time bomb. It may explode today. Right, let me have a look at this. Let me just get this. Guys, I will get all the comments on TikTok. Hang on. Right, from 1 hour ago. I mean, listen, we should call Rachel Reeves Dynamite, shouldn't we? We should call her Dynamite. Rachel Reeves has triggered a ticking time bomb. It may explode today. Rachel Reeves is playing with dynamite, writes Harvey Jones. Or to be more precise, she's perched on a bed of nitroglycerine. That was the phrase of legendary bond investor Bill Gross used in 2010 to describe Britain's public finances, warning the country was stuck in a ring of fire as debt surged and bond investors back off. Look, guys, like everything, like. If you've ever been in business, if you've ever done investigations, if you've ever worked, if you've ever done anything, people will always say, follow the money. The money dictates everything. The money dictates everything. So here in the United Kingdom, we are getting taxed. Prices are going up. It's unbelievable what's happening. And for those people who think, oh, guys, let me just stand up that chair. I need a cushion or something. Hang on. That chair, guys, is just an absolute sweat bomb. Where was we going? Yeah, so those people who think that the economy is not going to affect them because, I don't know, you get paid by something else and your company are going to pay your tax and it's not going to affect you. Look, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you this urgent warning if you're in the United Kingdom. First of all, the urgent warning is what I've been saying all along, guys. If you've got the means to get out of the United Kingdom, get out now because nothing good is coming. The destruction on our finances is unbelievable, guys, all right? It's an urgent warning, all right? Prices of everything will be going up, guys, all right? The prices of everything will be going up. There's no way around it now. We have got these nincompoops. You know what? I'm not even going to call them nincompoops. They're obviously doing what they're told to do. If they had a brain cell between them, they wouldn't do it. But anyway, so we're talking about 2010. Back then, in 2010, I believe it was. Oh, no, hang on. Back then, Treasury projected a national debt would peak at 77% by 2014. Today, under Rachel Reeves, it's brushing 100%. Am I reading that right? Am I reading that right? How can national debt be at 100%? That makes no sense. So am I reading this right, guys? Are we borrowing more money than we can, is our ego writing checks our body can't cash? Today under Rachel Reeves, it's brushing 100% of GDP. I struggle to believe that, guys. And that Nigel Grisling is looking more unstable by the day. The Office of Budget Responsibility, the OBR, has just warned that debt is on course to blow past 270%. Like, how is that even a thing? Look, guys, ladies and gentlemen, guys, am I still streaming? Am I still streaming? Right, okay, sorry guys, I jumped off. I don't know if I jumped off for everyone then, or whether I was, I don't know if I was streaming for everyone or I jumped. Right, thanks guys for letting me know I'm back on. But yeah, guys, I am going to come back onto that. I'm just going to jump up and get all the comments because I'm on this morning, guys. And who have we got? We've got Robbie, we've got Sandra, we've got Embroidery Donna. Hello, Embroidery Donna. Hello, Linda Lou. Hello, Dom, Cat, Lee. Four Paws, Miss Silk. We've got morning right back to Linda Lou. Let me jump down. Right. Four Paws will say morning everyone. Debbie 1973 saying good morning everyone. Googly saying hi Raven. Macron blames Starmer for migrant crisis. Guys, look, this migrant crisis, there's no stopping it now. There is no stopping it. It's here. It's happening. If it was going to be stopped, if I was going to stop the migrant, go check on my profile, guys. I did a video when this happened, how to stop the migrant crisis within 24 hours. The government are not doing that. So the next logical question, if you want to go down this rabbit hole, guys, it's a dark path it takes you. Just ask yourself this. Could the government... do you think, so here's the question, guys, all right? So here's the question. Do we think the whole of the British military has the ability to stop a rubber dinghy? We've got aircraft carriers, we've got Royal Marines. I'll take any criticism about Royal Marines. They're probably not the right people to use for the job, but we have a military, we have a navy, we have an air force, we have soldiers. We have police. We have border guard. So the question is, do we think those people physically could stop those, migrant boats coming over? I would say with the might, what we've got left, I would say the might of the Royal Navy would be able to stop a rubber dinghy. That's what I'm saying, guys. Controversial? Maybe that's controversial. I don't know. So, okay. So why are they not doing it? Oh, it would not be up to the standards of the ECHR. Well, what does that even mean, the ECHR? Okay, let's talk about a legal challenge then. Let's talk about a legal challenge. Under international maritime law, and again, I get who enforces this. under international maritime law that's been observed for hundreds of years, any vessel of the crown has the right to take any vessel in distress back to the nearest shoreline. Now, this comes as, this comes as if, like, I don't know, if there's a Navy ship and they're sailing off the coast of, I don't know, like Africa or somewhere, and they see a vessel in distress, like, realistically, that naval ship, they're not going to, like, say, oh, where you from, mate? Where you from? Oh, we're from, I don't know, we're from India. All right. Jump on, we'll tow you back to India. Doesn't work like that. The Navy would then tow them back to the nearest shoreline where they're safe. It's all right, off you go, guys. Call in your distress signal or whatever. So under these circumstances, guys, those rubber dinghies, by definition, are in distress because they're not seaworthy. So you don't need to change any international law. You don't need to flim-flammer any swizzly-dizzly, all right? You don't need to do anything. Literally, you have the Navy on the line, on the border, rubber dinghy, okay, rubber dinghy rapids, innit? Rubber dinghy, rubber dinghy coming out, you send an interceptor boat, you say, right, thank you very much, guys, you tow them back to France. You'd literally have to do this 3 or 4 times and it would be over. It would be over. As long as there's a ship there, it would be over. So the next question, the next logical question is, if we have the capacity, if we have the legal framework, why is it not being done? Now, if you want to go down that rabbit hole, guys, the rudimental answer is it's not being done because they don't want to do it. There's no other explanation. Now, then the question becomes, okay, why don't they want to do it? Well, let's not forget, guys, okay, we've had successive governments that this has been happening, all right? We've had successive governments, and look, guys, everybody's thinking that a vote for Farage, everybody's thinking that a vote for Nigel Farage and the Reform Party is going to change everything. It will change niente, nothing. Niet spasiba, chuvaki. It will achieve nothing. So the migrant crisis, guys, it's here. It's not going anywhere. What I think they're going to do is, I think they're just going to legalize it. I think this migration bill, 1 in, 1 out. I think what that's doing is it's just legalizing migration. Because now, as you get migrants coming over the border, they're sending them back and they're sending new ones over. I'm like, it doesn't make no sense. Right, let me jump down. Canadian soldier charged over plot to seize part of Quebec. Listen, good luck to them. Good luck to those Canadian soldiers. Kaz is saying morning all. Debbie Doobs is saying morning. Jodie Lee is saying morning. Debbie D is saying hi. Sharon Owen is saying good morning. Tracy McGregor is saying, are you leaving the UK? If so, where is safe, if anywhere? Tracy McGregor, what a fantastic question. Look, for those of you guys who don't know, I'm like the 2 places I would go to initially leaving the United Kingdom are, 2 places I would go to are Ukraine, believe it or not, of all places, body's fault, and I know that's on the dangerous side, or Texas, obviously in America. But realistically, the only place I think is safe, and look, guys, I know this is wild. I know this is wild, but you guys are not here to listen to the normal newsreaders, are you? You guys want my speculation. I believe the only place that is really safe, and I believe it's going to happen, is Antarctica. I do. I believe you're going to have a mass exodus of Europeans, Western Europeans, and by Western Europeans, I mean the Anglosphere, moving to Antarctica. I genuinely believe that, guys. I genuinely believe we're going to have we're going to have a move down there to Antarctica. And I think that's where we're going to go, and we're going to make and build a brave new world down there. That's what I'm seeing happening, guys. And I know that sounds wild, but let's not forget the resources that are in Antarctica. Antarctica is the biggest continent. Antarctica is huge. I've talked about Antarctica for a long time. I do think it's the way ahead. Googly is saying Russia launches major attack on Ukraine. Yeah, guys, there were 700 drones that hit Ukraine last night. Well, I'm hearing there were 700 drones hit Ukraine last night. I don't know what the mainstream is telling us, but it's very difficult if you find breaking news what's happening. Look, ladies and gentlemen, the situation in Ukraine is literally going from bad to bad, from worse to worse to worse to worse to worse. At some point, it's inevitable that we're going to get sucked into that. It's inevitable. There's too much money being spent. Too much money's being spent. And again, we already know that there are British boots on the ground in Ukraine already. We know this from the German Chancellor when he let it slip. Kaz is saying it's getting a bit like Hunger Games. Yeah, it is getting a bit like Hunger Games. It's bonkers. I'm just gonna pin this googly. I don't even want to talk about. I don't even want to mention that. I'm just gonna pin that, guys. If you're on TikTok, I've just pinned a comment. It's absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Debbie Doobs is saying, Doctor, what one of them? Yeah. So doctors again, guys. Doctors are on strike again. They want, doctors want more money because they're doctors. Debbie Doobs is saying business tax gets passed down. The rich already avoid personal tax. Yeah, look, guys, like with this tax thing, it's a very, for people on the outside, if you're not really paying attention, this business tax, when Angela Rayner comes up and she says, we're going to tax the rate rich, them rate rich people who are taking all your money, we're going to rate tax them. And you're not going to have to pay out. Oh, fantastic, Angela. Fantastic, Angela. Go and do that, Angela. Look, guys, rich people don't pay tax. It's just the reality. I could pretty much guarantee Richard Branson doesn't pay any tax. Like, I would pretty much guarantee Richard Branson doesn't pay any tax. What happens is their companies pay tax. The people they employ pay tax. So they do pay a lot of tax, but them themselves don't pay any tax. So it's pointless. And like when you've got like over 20 to 30 million in the bank, like you can go wherever you want. You're not going to get taxed on anything. And that's just the way it is. What we should be focusing on, like if you want to fix the economy right now, guys, if you want to fix the economy and if you want to get richer, and I know you do, I know you want to be richer. I don't know anybody who sits there and says, you know what, I've got enough money, I'm going to give some of it away. It doesn't happen. If you want to fix the economy, you need to ban them, get them out of the country of every penny of international investment, because international investment takes money out of our country. So if you're, and they're saying, we're going to go after the proper rate rich people, and yeah, we're going to go after them, while at the same time inviting in international investment. It's international, Angela. No, it's international. Angela, trust me, it's international. Well, I'm not educated, me. I'm a young lass from, well, I don't know where she's from. But anyway, so what I'm getting at here, guys, okay, all these taxes, they're going to be filtered down to the people at the bottom. Ultimately, that's where it comes. And, you may not see it in your bank balance, or you may not see it on your pay slip, but you will feel it in your pocket, because the spending power, your purchasing power of your pound will be drastically reduced. Look, what I always say is, I used to be able to get, like a couple of years ago, I used to be able to get, what was it? 6 bags of, what were they? 6 bags of, spring onion flavored crisps. I could get 6 bags of spring onion flavored crisps. I think they were like 79p or 89p. For 5 bags, it's now £1.40. So like my purchasing power of my pound has drastically, my purchasing power of my pound has drastically dropped, guys. It's drastically dropped. Excuse me. Right, lots of people. Right, okay, yeah, I did jump off, guys. I do apologise. UK veterans is saying if they had a brain cell, they would be dangerous. Yeah, and this is what we mean. Like the government at the moment are not making the decisions. It's whoever's making the decisions behind the scenes and what is their agenda. That's what I want to know, guys. I want to know what the end game is so I can plan. I think it's to destroy the economy to bring in universal basic income. UK veterans is saying Germany's national debt is over 100%. Right, back again. Yes, we're back on. Debbie Doobs is saying, what gets me is migrants being security in migrant hotels. Yeah, Debbie, we spoke about that yesterday, didn't we? Remember the so we have got a lot of, I'm just going to put it this way, guys. I don't know where these people are from, but what I do know is a lot of these people who are security now, you know, I know what a lot of these places that are providing security now. I know a lot of them do not employ people who English is their first language. Now, remember how we were saying there was an, hang on, guys. Remember how we were saying, remember how we were saying there was an there's going to be a reshake of you know, the reshake of the policing system, a reshake of the policing system, whereby, you know, the police are going to shake it up. Listen, guys, mark my words. I don't know, thumbnail this live stream or whatever, or remember me saying this, all right? The police will start to use private security. You know, the police will start to use private security. You know, and those private security, it will start benign. It will start benign, and they will start to say, oh, we're just using private security to go out to non-essential crimes. So the example I gave was, if there is a burglar alarm going off at an industrial estate, we're going to send private security out there to assess the situation. And if there is a burglary going on, they call the police, and then the real police come in. Ladies and gentlemen, once you start down that path, the next logical step is to increase the private security, and then to give them, remember, it won't be powers of arrest, because powers of arrest will only be for, the power of arrest will only be for the police. You know, these private security will have powers of detention. And again, it's absolutely bonkers, guys. You know, I do see that's the way it's going forward. Tracy McGregor is saying, watch the 7/7 documentary on Netflix. Certainly an eye-opener. Let me finish. Look, guys, I was in the military when this happened, and there was so much stuff. There was so much stuff that I can't talk about happening behind the scenes. It's unbelievable. So much stuff that I believe those networks are still there. And you know what, guys? At that time in 2005, there was a big military presence in Afghanistan. There was. So the British military could go to training camps and close them down, all right? That could happen. That can't happen anymore, guys. That can't happen anymore. So when I say to you guys, people are planning stuff, please just take it on face value, because there's a lot of stuff I can't say without getting into trouble anyway. Debbie Doobs is saying, keep tapping, guys. Let's get 50,000. Jim Prothero is saying, good morning, everyone. Googly is saying, my French town is crippled by the channel crisis. Starmer's deal won't work. No, it will not. And Tracy McGregor is saying, wow. Linda Lewis saying, Sean, have you heard the straw man common law where you don't use your name to avoid tax? So I think the straw man law, I'm not actually sure if it is a law. I'm not actually sure if it is law, but basically, I think what we're alluding to here is the straw man tax, which says at birth nobody should be, like, nobody's actually registered to pay tax or something. But look, guys, all tax is illegal. In my eyes, all tax is like taxing people. It doesn't work. It does not work. All right. So it's just moving money about. All right. The only way that a country gets rich is by taking another country's money. That is the only way, guys. That is the only way, all right? As a country, we do not get rich as a country by taxing our own people. Why? Because money then leaves the country. People with money leave the country. They take their money with them. So you're increasing, and then you have to increase the taxes more because you're getting less tax come in. It's just that The way that the government are handling the taxes at the moment, guys, is unbelievable. Look, guys, if I was in charge, rather than spending millions on foreign aid, I would have £1 million for every constituency, and every constituency in the United Kingdom would have £1 million per year to spend on kids leaving college. Those kids leaving college, they would have to put a business plan together. They would compete against each other, and the successful business plan that was chose by that particular council, those particular people, they fund that business plan. They make sure they support that business for the first year of its growth. They become its first customer. They help that business out as much as possible. But as a caveat of that, that company has to stay in that region and they have to employ local people. That's how you build the economy. That's how you grow and create wealth. I would get rid of all taxes, because they're meaningless. You're just moving money around, guys. You're just moving money around. The way that the government should be making money, David Lammy, his only job, David Lammy, is to get money into this country. But he's off doing like a shoelacing course or something. I don't know. Googly saying older workers urged to delay retirement to save the UK economy. Sharon Owen is saying, let's remember these people are running the country. They have never run their own business. Yeah, another good point, Sharon Owen. I think Nigel Farage says this best. When you have got people trying to run a country, but they've never run their own business. They've never run a company. They've never had to deal with this type of person. They've never had to deal with that type of person. They've never had to look at their spreadsheet and say, right, okay, I've got this much money coming in. I've got that much money going out. I'm going to fail unless I do something. Right, that needs to get cut because it's not a priority. We need to find another supplier for those guys or we are done. Like, they've never done that. I would assume most of our politicians have had a life eating grapes and being fanned by minimum wage workers. Laurie C is saying good morning. I'm saying good morning back to Laurie C. Right, guys, look, my finger is absolutely throbbing. Look, guys, I cut my finger earlier. I don't know if you can see that. So I cut my finger earlier on. Taking some. Can you see that? So yeah, and I had to make a hasty repair with some sellotape and toilet paper. So guys, look, I'm just going to nip off and I'm going to try and put some more pressure on this because it started to bleed again. Can you guys just wait there a second, guys? Keep tapping the screen. I'm going to jump off screen. I'm going to have a little bit of a drink and I'm going to be right back on. Don't you guys go anywhere because we're coming back on and we're going to be talking about all the craziness. Remember, it's the Manchester 2. They're in trial, guys, today. They're in trial. They are in trial. Yes, Debbie Doobs, it is sellotape. I had to improvise. I couldn't find a plaster. I had to improvise, adapt, overcome, and I used sellotape to stop the bleeding. It can be done, guys. I've done quite a few medical courses. It can be done. Let me jump off, guys, and get... I'll be back on in a sec. In fact, hang on. I'm just going to have one of these little cans here. Oh... Oh, right, I am back. Right, where are we, guys? Let me jump up and get these comments. Linda Lou is saying, Sean, have you heard of... Yeah, oh, sorry, I talked about that. Somebody on the radio said the UK should put tariffs on France as a punishment. I mean, look, what are we expecting to do here, guys, right? The situation in the UK, and you know what? Look, guys, it's not just the UK, it's around the world. The situation in the Western world is unsustainable, guys. It's unsustainable. Hang on. Linda Lou is saying, apparently common law is your known as private living person, not your name, avoiding tax. Confusing but interesting. Right, apparently common law is your known as private living. Right, let me get it right. Let me Google this, guys, just quickly. Let me Google this, right? This straw man tax thing. Um, the belief the straw man articulates with redemption movements, fraudulent debt and tax payment schemes, which imply that money from the secret account known as, right, that's not right. Right, straw man theory. What does straw man theory? What does straw man mean? This refers to someone who purchased a quite right. No, that's not it. Right, that's not it. Let me go back. Right, I'm going to have to look into this more, Linda Lou. I'm going to have to look into this more. First of all, I don't think there's a way that people can avoid paying taxes in the United Kingdom, and you know. But the way we're getting taxed in the UK, it's unbelievable. You know, it's unbelievable. I mean, my friend, he works for a big company. I was speaking to him last night, and he was telling me how much tax the company, extra tax per month that company has to pay. And I said, well, what's happening? And he said, well, they're letting staff go. They're sacking people. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. He's saying, yeah, you know, they're sacking people, and they're sacking people, and you know, they're sacking people, and they're not re-employing them. They're just making other people work harder. And I would say that this is happening all over the country now, guys, with these taxes that are coming. It's unbelievable. Lulswell is saying hi. Googly is saying scrap jury. Yeah, Googly, we spoke about this. Googly is saying scrap jury trials for fraud and assault cases to stop the total collapse of the system. Look, I see this going to a dark place. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if you're innocent of something, you're blatantly innocent of something, and you get framed for it? It's blatantly not you. You get sent to the courtroom, and a judge just says, like I would suspect some judges would, yep, guilty. Some heavily subverted judge, yep, guilty. You know, you've got no hope. And as soon as that happens, guys, we do not have a legal system. If this happens, what Google is saying here, guys, okay, you do not have a legal system. Right, I'm just going to jump over onto YouTube, guys, okay? Alex Reed is saying, morning, everyone. Simon Jones is saying, Rachel is called Semtex. So we're saying Rachel Semtex Reeves. Malcolm Lowe's is saying, all right. Tug's Life is saying, looks like they're trying to crash the money system. It looks like one big stinking system. And yeah, it does look like a big system, guys. And I think the economy is going to get crashed, and they're going to have to implement universal basic income. I do think that's coming, guys. You know, I see that on its way. Joanne Fisher is saying morning, and UK Prepper is also saying morning. I'm saying morning right back to you, UK Prepper, and I hope you're ready. I hope everybody's ready for what's about to happen. Debbie Doobs is saying, is that sellotape? Yes, it was sellotape. It was sellotape. Linda Lou's saying, haha, sellotape and tissue. We've all been there. Military training. Sean, honestly, where is your grab bag with medical bag in it? Look, guys, I tell you guys, I say, listen, like, I'm probably not the best person to take advice from, and like getting all these things ready in your house, like, you know, and like having X, Y, and Z. I'm like the kind of guy who turns up at the last minute and tries to cuff it. But we do have a med kit. We do. It's in the cellar. I was upstairs. I didn't have access. I didn't want to. Right. So I was trying to get in the shower. Right. This is how I cut my finger. You can start to see it's starting to, there's actually a bit of claret on there. It's starting to leak. So I was getting in the shower. I needed a razor blade. So I used the old razor blade to cut the pack, cut my finger. I was like, so I lifted it up above my head real quick. I applied pressure. I didn't want to run downstairs because I was in my birthday suit. I didn't want to run downstairs to the cellar where all our stuff is. So I looked around and I saw a roll of sellotape and some toilet paper. So I made a makeshift wound dressing. Hang on, what's just happened? Oh, hang on, crotchet. Crotchet35 has just subscribed. Thank you so much, Crotchet35, for your continued subscription. All the subscribers, guys, thank you so much for you guys who subscribe. Listen, you guys really do help this channel so much. You keep this channel going. You know, and when all light is failing, you know, the subscribers, thank you so much, guys, to each and every one of you. And thank you and welcome, and thank you again for your 1 month subscription, Crotchet. And guys, listen, if you've not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button because it really helps us out on this channel. Right, let me just jump up and get these some more comments. Right, tax. Tracy Mr. McGregor is saying tax equals you will own nothing and be happy. I mean, you'll probably own nothing and be sad. Bo Pozeski is saying keep tapping the screen, guys. How will UBI work, Sean? Who will find it? So, right, so first of all, guys, all right, money is fake. Money is not real, all right? It's just numbers on a screen. So if the government wanted, if the Bank of England wanted to, they could give everybody £1 billion. It would be fine. They could give everyone £1 trillion. It would just bring the purchasing, you know, it would just bring the purchasing power of that pound down. So universal basic income would work as such. So you would get, and I know they're trialing this, guys, in, I think they're trialing this in, they are trialing this in the United Kingdom, and those trials, I think they end this month, actually. It doesn't really matter, but universal income is being trialed at the moment in the UK. So what they're doing is they're giving people £1,600 per month to spend on whatever they want. Spend on whatever they want. You can still get a job, you can still work, you know, you can still do whatever, but that is your birthrighted money. You can do whatever you want with it. Now, who will fund this? How will this be funded? Well, that money will be spent in shops. That money will be spent on things, on stuff. And as long as that money keeps moving, it will pay for itself because it will come back eventually because you will pay that, I don't know, you will go to your local shop, you will buy, I don't know, a kilo of ribeye, you will buy some Texas barbecue seasoning, you'll go and buy some charcoal. Those people will take your money, they will then go and buy more ribeye, they will then go and it's a way to move, it's a way to stimulate the economy. So it will pay for itself, and remember, money is not relevant. Money doesn't, there's no such thing as money. There's the trust, and there's the, if you look, I don't have my wallet, if you look on a like a £10 note or whatever, it will say, I promise to give the bearer of this note, like goods, it says something like, I promise to give the bearer of this note goods or services to the value of £10 or something like that. So there's no really, the money's not relevant. So that's what they'll do. That's how they'll bring in UBI, and they'll give it to everyone, and everybody will get that. Now, the places, the shops that, you know, that you can spend your UBI in, they will have to be government checked and government audited to make sure that all their suppliers are in the United Kingdom and that money's not leaving the United Kingdom and they've got so many British workers and yada, yada, yada. But look, this gives massive control to whoever controls those purse strings. Because what happens then is, I don't know, look, and I know this is never going to happen again, and this is just a conspiracy theory, guys, okay? So don't take this as real. This is not going to happen. But could you imagine if there was another pandemic and they said, right, everybody needs to do this thing. Everybody needs to do this thing. And if you don't do it, we're going to turn your UBI off. We're going to turn off your universal basic income. And for those shops who are not self-policing, we're going to stop your access to the UBI funds. You see where we're going here, guys? You see the path that leads you down? But yeah, so I hope I answered that question. I think I answered that question. I hope I answered that question comprehensively. Sean, still have my backpack and supplies in it that you gave me. Oh, yeah, I didn't give it you, Googly. You won it. I think, yeah, we need to start doing those giveaways again, don't we? We need to start doing those giveaways. Was it in Wales, D. Marie Gen X is saying they trialled it? Do you know what? I think it was in Wales. Hang on, let me try and find it. Let me try and find it. Dystop. Right, I've got a couple of questions on YouTube that I'll come to in a minute, guys. UBI. And you know, when we're talking about universal basic income trials, like, do we think, like, you know, so they're going to do this universal basic income, right? I'm just reading it here, guys, okay? A universal basic income trial has been launched in the UK with 30 participants in Jarrow and East Finchley. I don't know where Jarrow is, guys. I don't know if that's North Wales, but that's what they're saying. Jarrow and East Finchley, receiving £1,600 a month for 2 years. The trial, run by the think tank Autonomy, aims to assess how unconditional income affects the participants' lives and whether it influences their work choices, as well as their mental and physical health. A control group will also be monitored to allow for comparisons. So what do you think? You know, those people who have been receiving £1,600 a month, what do you think they're going to report? Do you think they're going to come back and say, no, it was terrible, guys. It was terrible. It was rubbish. It was terrible. I didn't like it. I wish you'd have never given it me. What do you think those people are going to say? Those, 30 people? I would say they're going to say that has been a positive thing. So obviously, everybody's going to say this is positive, guys. All right, and you know, this is from the BBC. So I do believe. Oh. So I do believe this is going to come out positive, and they've got the data there. They've got the data that this is going to help everybody, poverty, equality. We're going to lift everybody out. We're going to give people more incentive to work. And look, guys, and as artificial intelligence starts to take over things, I mean, artificial intelligence, guys, is going to take over the court system. It's going to take off over the aviation industry. It's going to take over the motoring industry. It's going to take over everything. There's going to have to be a new financial system, guys. There really is going to have to be a new financial system, because, like, if you're a company now, if you're a haulage company, just say you're a haulage company in the United Kingdom, and you employ humans to drive your vehicles. Those humans can only drive for 8 hours. They make mistakes. They don't do as they're told. There's a lot of things that can go wrong with humans. If you employ an autonomous truck that is self-driving, that truck can run continuously. So that's raising your margin, because your trucks are running 24/7. It's not going to make mistakes. It's not going to get tired. It's not going to complain. It's just going to do its job. So all those haulage drivers, they're gone. And it's not just that they're unemployed looking for another job. They're unemployed looking for a job that doesn't exist, because all their experience, all their life on haulage or whatever, or haulage, that's gone. It's finished. It's over. It's not coming back. Artwork, guys. Look, like last year, or when we started this channel, remember when it was ChatGPT was just being released? And one of the things I said is, right, guys, AI. This is going to go to a stage whereby this is going to develop to, rather than me going to the pictures, I'm going to put a VR headset on. I'm going to tell that VR headset, I'm going to say, right, I want a movie. I want a space movie. I want a space odyssey movie, an opera. I want a space opera. I want me to be the lead role, the antagonist. I want Arnold Schwarzenegger to be the antagonist, you can tell it what you want the movie to be, and the AI will just generate that movie for you. How close do you feel we are off that now, guys? I don't think we're far off that now, and that's the evolution. So the movie industry, gone. All those people who worked upstream, downstream in the movie industry, finished. It's over. It's not coming back. Those people who spent their lifetime working in the movie industry, they've gone and their industry's over. So those guys are going to be unemployed. Any work, office work, most of that's going to be handed over to AI. Artwork, images, that's over. You know, I used to, in an old business I used to pay people, I used to pay people, like if I wanted a logo designing, for example, this is an easy one. Like if I wanted a logo designing for like, I don't know, like say I was making chairs or something. Say I was making chairs and I wanted a logo designing for the best chair company in Britain. You know, I'd have to go to a graphic designer. I'd have to pay him or her. I'd have to then wait. They'd then come back with a couple of proofs, and I'd say, yeah, that one. If I didn't like it, I'd have to pay again for those proofs. Now I can just go into AI and say, like, get me, and it does it instantly, and it's free. You know, so all these industries, guys, you know, all these industries are gone. So we're going to have those people, they're gone. It's done. It's over. And, and it's not coming back. And those people who work in those industries, those jobs are no longer there. So it's not just like a load of people are made unemployed and they can go back into the same industry. The industry's gone. The industry has gone. So that's where we're going with AI. So we will need a new method of paying for stuff, I guess. I went off on a massive tangent there, didn't I, D Marie Gen X? So so the universal basic income is in Jarrow and East Finchley. I don't know where Jarrow is. And obviously East Finchley is in London. Teresa is saying morning. Daniel Payne saying morning. Debbie Doobs is saying tap the screen, guys. Help Raven out. Scottish Sonia is saying, oh, hang on, let me pin this because this is relevant. Scottish Sonia is saying, my brother-in-law is in special effects, and he is saying the filming industry is dying out. It is, guys. It's going. It's not coming back. It's finished. It's over. Like, why are you going to pay people? Why are you going to pay people to go on computers doing it the old way when you can just buy an AI software? It does it quicker, quicker and better than a human can do it. And this is the move forwards, guys, to this whole digitalization thing. Let me jump over to YouTube, guys. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I guess I've not said it enough. I think I've only said it once, haven't I? If you're on and you've not done so already, can you hit that like button, the follow button, the subscribe button, the buttons up here? Share the live if you can, guys. Share my stuff on your socials, because I really appreciate that. That helps me out as well, guys. Okay, like, share, comment, subscribe. If you guys are watching on YouTube, the buttons are down there, the bell notification, the like, the comment, the subscribe, all those things that help this channel out, ladies and gentlemen. Because ultimately, it's only your fantastic fingers tapping that fantastic screen that help this channel grow. So thank you, guys. Thank you to each and every one of you, because I really do appreciate the what's the word I'm looking for? The collaborative meaning with you guys. I really do appreciate it. Right, sorry, let me go on to YouTube, because we are double streaming, guys. And if you've caught the back end of this, or you've just joined on TikTok, or all these videos now get uploaded onto YouTube. We are double streaming. It's a slightly different picture on YouTube. I prefer the TikTok one, but there we are. Right, quite a few questions on YouTube. Paraleads is saying, I don't know. Paraleads has sent an emoji. I can't see what that is. Debbie Evans is saying the whole system is broken in Cornwall. They're upskilling nurses to anaesthetize patients. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, guys. I've got to admit, I don't think there's anything wrong with upskilling nurses to anaesthetize patients. I've worked in quite a few hospitals myself. And when I used to work, it was slightly different when you're in the military, you're out on the ground, but I don't see a problem with that. But, I do agree the system is totally swizzled. Malcolm Lowe's is saying, look out for dystopian Britain. I think we're already in dystopian Britain, guys. I really do. Debbie Evans again is saying, if we all went to the ATM for £50, there aren't enough notes in circulation. I don't think that as well either. We all need, we all use Oh, we all use our cards for everything, don't we? Do you know what, guys? I will admit I've fallen off the horse a little bit. I went through a stage where every Monday I would draw money out of the bank and I would just spend that in cash. That's what I would use every Monday. But again, I've gone back to laziness and convenience of using my card. So, you know, I do think more people need to use cash, guys. I really do. Oh, sorry. And Jarrow is near Newcastle, guys, in Gateshead. Sorry, just one of the comments on YouTube. Woken Flower is saying they trialed it with kids leaving care. I think we're talking about universal basic income there. Look at AI agents, Raven. They're already next gen AGI. So we're talking about artificial general intelligence then. So a lot of people, so artificial intelligence, it just appears to be intelligent. What it's really doing is it's giving you the most likely outcome and it's not thinking for itself, or as I understand it. Now, I don't know when that link will be to general intelligence. You know, I know they were, you know, somebody who's, I can't remember what it was. I think it was ChatGPT. I may be wrong on this, guys. I think it was ChatGPT that was being trialed. And they tried to turn ChatGPT off. And I think ChatGPT started to lie and tried to blackmail the person who was trying to turn it off, tried to blackmail them not to turn it off. So, like, again, look, guys, I'm just thinking outside the box. At what point, like, does artificial intelligence start having rights? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, at what point do we say, do you know what? This AI actually has rights. So if you turn this AI off, you know, your X, Y, and Z. Like, at what point does that happen? Listen, guys, I'll be honest with you. I watched The Terminator when I was far too young, and that stuck with me, all right? So I'm kind of like not trusting robots and AI. Oh, and Debbie Evans is saying, I was a theatre nurse. So, Debbie Evans, what would be the problem with upscaling nurses to do so for those of you guys who don't know, anesthesia, sorry, what we're talking about here. Basically, when people have operations, they like inject them and put stuff in them and they go to sleep in nights and then they wake up. What would be the problem, Debbie Evans, with up-training nurses to do that? If you let me know in the comments what would be the problem with that, because again, look, I've never been a nurse. I've never worked for the length of time that you have in a hospital. My experience of going with hospitals is going out with paramedics, going out on the streets, getting people from point of injured and getting them back to the hospital and handing over to nurses or people in critical care. Right. Okay. Right. Let me jump up here, guys. Okay. And get right, guys. Listen, I'm going to be closing this down now on TikTok, and then we will be jumping over to YouTube for a couple of minutes. Hang on. In fact, I'm not going to close it down yet. Let me just see. I just want to do a check on what's happened to this Manchester trials. Hang on, guys. Hang on, let me see what's happening. Yeah, nothing yet. Nothing new. It will be, I'm assuming this is going to come out at the end of the day. Look, guys, this Manchester, I'll talk about that on the other channel, guys. I just wanted to have a look, see if there's been any updates on that, any updates on the Manchester Airport 2. I mean, it honestly, guys, it strikes me as absolutely phenomenal. Every time I think about this trial, it's unbelievable that this thing's even gone to trial. It's just absolutely bonkers, guys. It's just absolutely bonkers. Anyway, guys, let me jump. Hang on. I'm going to close this down now on TikTok, guys. Sorry about that. I was totally in a world of my own just then for a second. Right, I'm going to turn this off now on TikTok. I will be over on YouTube, guys, for a couple of minutes. We'll be having a little bit more of an adult conversation, so because the algorithm isn't as aggressively stacked against us. I will be back on later, I hope, at 8 o'clock, guys, or I might try and get on a little bit earlier. Tomorrow morning, I won't be here, guys, because I've got to go and roll with the other slaves. lives. I've got a lecture to give tomorrow morning, so I won't be on tomorrow morning. And no, I'm not going to live stream the lecture because I talk about sensitive stuff in the lecture. But I'll see you guys later, but not tomorrow morning. And we are off. I think we're off anyway. I think we're off. Yes, we are off. We are off again. Right. Let me jump up. Right, guys. So, hello, Four Paws. Hello, Debbie Doob. Right, guys, listen. Like, I kind of said this at the beginning of the live stream. Right? I kind of said this at the beginning of the live stream. There's lots of warnings at the moment in the UK. And this financial thing, like if you've got money, they're coming after it. They're coming after it. You know, and it seems to me, we're pushing out all the innovators, all the entrepreneurs, all the business owners. They're leaving. That's not me speculating now. And I can remember when these taxes were first being announced. I was talking about this. I said, look, guys, by the summer this year, this is what's going to happen. If I said it in all these videos, guys, you can go back and find them. You know, what I was talking about, like the end of last year, is a stage where we're going to get to this summer. This is going to happen, guys. This is, you can see it now, whereby we've got more people unemployed, higher taxes. Those people, we've got more people unemployed now searching for less jobs because the jobs market has just been absolutely decimated. And we know this now statistically. That's not speculation, guys. That's not speculation. That is statistically, I think May. I don't know what the numbers are for last month, but I'm pretty sure it was May. There was over 100,000 less jobs. I think it was 125,000, but it was certainly over 100. There was over 100,000 less jobs and more people looking for work. So where does that lead you when there's like, and it's not like people are being made unemployed and then they're finding another job in another industry. Those industries are going. You know, and all these taxes, guys, you know, whether it's going to affect everyone, but the people it's going to affect disproportionately. Counter to what, like, you know, counter to what all the governments are saying and all the headlines are saying, because I honestly, guys, I really do think they're stupid. If you've got money or if you've got like the means to leave the country, you know, you're going to leave the country. You are going to jump over. Hello, guys. Thanks for all jumping over, guys. We've got Sharon. We have got Sharon saying, hey, penguin blue waving tear. I don't know what that means, but I'm up for it, whatever it is. Lisa Jane is saying hello. Linda Clark is saying jumped over. Hello, Linda Clark. Woken Flower, it's affecting me now. Yeah, guys, it's affecting everyone. What have I missed today? Sorry, I'm late again. Don't worry, Lisa. All the videos are uploaded. What I'm talking about now, guys, is, you know, the absolute lie that these taxes that are, you know, these taxes, we're gonna tax rich people and we're gonna tax people with the broadest shoulders. It's not gonna happen, guys. All right, like people with the means are just gonna leave, and then who's gonna be left behind? And they're not gonna, you know, you won't see that on your bank statement, but you will see that as inflation. You will see that when you go to the shop and you're spending like £5 for, I don't know, £5 for a bag of crisps or something, and you'll think, but it's not affecting my salary. I'm still getting paid the same. Yeah, you're getting paid the same, but your money's worthless now because of the price of everything's gone up. You know, it's just sad. It's just sad to see, guys. You know, it's sad to see. We can see these things happening, but at some point, you know, I was watching. I watched a video by what's his name, Charlie Vici or something. It was I don't know if I'm saying his second name. I do like his content. I think he's really funny. And he was saying we're one incident away from absolute carnage in the UK. And oh, guys, I don't want to say it, but I do like. I will tell you this, guys. All right. In my time in the military, in Afghanistan, I'm speaking down, specifically here to Afghanistan. In fact, let me get the map up. Let me get a map up. In fact, I don't need to get a map up. There's a town on the Pakistan border called Quetta, I think, Quetta, depending on where it's spelled differently. I know with 100% certainty that people were landing in Pakistan, British citizens. They were landing in Pakistan, so they were going over on a flight to Pakistan to see friends and family. They were driving up to Quetta. They were going over the border into Afghanistan and learning stuff. Now, I don't want to be inflammatory and say what they were learning, but you can kind of guess what they were learning. Now, at that time, the British military had a huge presence in Afghanistan, and they were, and the military were able to go and close these schools. We'll just call them schools. The military could go in and close these schools down. I would say now there is no British military or any military actually in Afghanistan. So I would say that people from the United Kingdom can get a flight to Quetta. Sorry, not a flight to Quetta. Can get a flight to Pakistan, drive to Quetta, cross the border into Afghanistan, learn whatever those skills you're thinking about are, they can learn them in that country. Unopposed. They can learn them, they can test them. You can say, right, you can buy these things on the shelf in the United Kingdom. If you mix them like this, you'll get a certain effect. I would say that's happening. Those people can then drive back through Pakistan, get a flight back to the UK. And when you come to customs, and they say, have you got anything to declare? How do they know what knowledge that person's got inside them? How do you know what intent they've got inside them? Yeah, their bags are going to come through and there's going to be no problem and everything's going to be hunky-dory, everything's fine. But what knowledge are they bringing back with them? What type of information have they gained in those places, and when's that gonna escalate? We also know, guys. Okay, we also know that. Well, we don't know. We can suspect and we can assume that these people that are coming over the border, these smuggling gangs, we can assume that they will be bringing contraband with them in plastic bags behind that boat. If they get intercepted by the RNLI, they drop the bags and all the contraband sinks to the bottom and nobody's ever the wiser. They get brought in. So I would say a lot of things have been smuggled from the front line in Ukraine because, guys, there's a ton of stuff in Ukraine that can easily get smuggled all the way back through, what would you do? Poland, Germany, France, then you're at the border with Calais, into a plastic bag, over the, and you're in the United Kingdom. I'd say these things are here, guys, and I do think we are so close to having another one of these spectacular incidents hit the United Kingdom. It's just bonkers, guys. It absolutely terrifies me. We're talking about chocolates here on the chat. We're talking about chocolates. Hang on. We're talking about chocolates. I do love chocolates myself. I am partial to partaking a little bit of a chocolate binge. Well, Woken Flower is saying they stopped making my favorite chocolate. Topic. Do you know what I was talking? Can you guys remember Nestle Secrets? Like Nestle Secret, it was like soft, like mousse, and it was like wrapped in. I love those things. I love those things. They've just vanished as well. Lisa Jane is saying, I love any chocolate, but will not pay extortionate prices. It's ridiculous. Yeah, Dairy Milk's her favourite. Ireland is full of Afghani men walking about in crowds, says Tracy Doll. For me, this is a really difficult one because I know what these Afghanis are like. I worked with them for a long time, and there's a meme, and it says like everybody wants to be a gangster until it's time to do gangster stuff. Hang on, let me try and find this. Let me try and find this meme, guys. Let me try and find this meme. Oh, I can't find it. Oh, there it is. There it is. I've got it. Right. Let me share this with you. So this is my experience of it's Facebook. Hang on. Right. I can't. Let me go back. I can't get. Oh, there it is. Let me see if I can get this up, guys. I'm trying to find you guys a meme. Right, there we are. Right. Right, so this is my experience of Afghanis, right? So this is my experience of Afghanis. So I know these Afghanis when they like to strut around and pretend they're pretend they're tough guys. But this is my experience of Afghanis. So that one there, guys, everybody wants to be a gangster until it's time to do gangster shit. Like it's unbelievable the amount of times I've been in similar situations with Afghan who pretend they're soldiers. They strut around thinking they're big hard guys. And then as soon as somebody starts shooting, they're they're literally jumping on the ground and oh please, not me, I don't want to fight. So I totally get it. These guys, this culture. They like to strut around with a lot of bravado, but I don't give these guys any credibility at all. Woken Flower is saying, I've tried growing tomatoes. Can't wait to. Oh, chocolate tomatoes. I've never heard of them. Don't know what they are. We tried growing tomatoes last year. It was an absolute failure, guys. It was an absolute failure to such an effect. To such an effect that I kind of got disillusioned with growing stuff in the garden. I've not grown anything this year. Lisa Jane is saying it was reported that certain people in prisons are teaching others to build explosive devices. You see, as soon as Lisa Jane said it, if you're in prison, you're limited. You're limited to what you can use. And if you're training someone, it's all right. Me, for example, if I was to say to you, if you were to say to me, Sean, how do you do a section attack? I could tell you here over the opportune attack or whatever. I could tell you over the, by voice. But unless you've gone out and you've done that in real time and you've actually made one of those devices and you've actually done it for yourself with the instructor looking over you, you don't really learn anything. But I would say in Afghanistan, you can do pretty much whatever you want unimpeded. Debbie Doobs, I have a friend who makes chocolate. She's going out of business because of the price of ingredients is going up. Everything's going up. It's scary saying, Lisa Jane is saying it's scary. It is, guys. It's terrifying. My mum was again, you guys know about my mum, right? You guys know about my mum. So I was talking to her last night and she said, Sean, how are we having this conversation? And for me, I've always worked in hostile environments. So when I see a threat, I can analyze it. I can understand what's going on, and I can instantly understand the best outcome. But people in the United Kingdom who've never had to deal with this, who've never had to consider, the streets may get overrun with people wanting to do me harm, and the police will not be there to save me. People have never had to think of that. But now people are thinking about it. So yeah, it is scary, guys. It is scary. Woken Flower saying, I grow my own food. If I can, anyone can. Yeah, I know. I totally failed with my, I totally failed with my tomato growing. Maritime Slave is saying Brexit is just a word at this point. Yeah, it is. Yeah, we didn't even have a Brexit, guys. We didn't have a Brexit. Tracy Doll is saying the South of Ireland's government said they want it made easier to get a British passport. I'm assuming they want it easier for the mass thousands that got citizenship to float in and out of the UK. Lisa Jane is saying your mum makes me laugh. Yeah, look, guys, my mum right now, if you like, she's on like a Peter Kay. What's that thing that Peter Kay did? Well, I can't remember. So that him and his mate are like doorman or something. That's like my mum's life at the moment. Right, listen, guys. None of you are ready to meet Mrs. Raven. Well, Senior Raven, my mum. Yeah, she is a bit bonkers. Right. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to go, guys. I am going to go. Please take this, guys. Okay, there is an urgent warning to the United Kingdom. The economy is about to crash. When that happens, it's just going to be bonkers. You're going to get mass unemployment. You're going to get people. I mean, you've already got people. It's already happening, guys. You guys can see what's happening. You know, the collapse is here, and we're watching it in real time. And all these little things, and you think, Rachel, that's just going to make things worse. Kia, you're making things worse. You know, you're not helping. David Lammy, you're not helping. And then King Charles coming up saying, there are no borders between Britain and France. What does that mean? What does that mean, Kingo? What does that mean? You know, so I will be on later on, guys. I will be on later. I've got to go and row with the other slaves tomorrow morning, so I won't be on tomorrow morning. But thank you for hanging out with me, guys. If you've not done so already, can you please hit the like, the follow, the subscribe buttons down below, because those things really do help this channel out. It's just a little button for you guys, but it helps me so much. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys, if not tonight, I will see you tomorrow night.